There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when opposition changes its voice. At first, enemies try to overpower you directly through pressure, competition, or confrontation. But when they realize you cannot be broken, intimidated, or controlled, they switch tactics. Their words become subtle weapons. What they say is no longer about truth, it is about frustration. When enemies cannot defeat you, their language exposes them. And if you listen carefully, you'll realize their words are not signs of your weakness, but proof of your growth. Chosen one, understand this clearly. People only speak against what threatens their position. Silence does not follow mediocrity, resistance does. When your discipline, peace, and progress make others uncomfortable, they reveal themselves through statements meant to confuse, belittle, or slow you down. Today, we uncover the 9 things your enemies say when they cannot defeat you, so you never mistake resistance for failure again. 1. You've changed. This is the first confession of defeat, and it rarely comes with clarity because clarity would require honesty. When they say, "You've changed," they never specify how, because the change is obvious to both of you. You are no longer available to be managed, guilted, provoked, or emotionally steered. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You stopped reacting to disrespect as if it deserved your energy. You stopped negotiating your boundaries for approval. And for those who benefited from your former openness, this feels like betrayal. Growth always feels offensive to those who were comfortable with your old limitations. Your evolution disrupts the roles they assigned you. You were predictable before, you responded on cue. You doubted yourself just enough to remain controllable. But now, your calm is unfamiliar. Your restraint is unsettling. Your detachment removes their leverage. What they are really saying is not that you changed, but that the version of you they understood is gone. This statement often comes from people who enjoyed unrestricted access to your time, attention, emotions, or loyalty. When you begin to value your energy, they feel rejected. When you stop over-explaining, they feel excluded. When you no longer react, they feel powerless. So instead of acknowledging your growth, they frame it as a flaw. "You've changed" becomes an accusation rather than an observation. But change is the evidence of alignment. Change is what happens when lessons are integrated instead of repeated. Change is what happens when self-respect replaces self-abandonment. You did not change arbitrarily. You outgrew environments, dynamics, and people who required you to remain small in order to function comfortably around you. Those who truly support you don't mourn your evolution. They celebrate it. They don't demand access to your old self. They adjust to who you've become. Only those who lost influence feel disturbed by your transformation. So when they say, "You've changed," understand the subtext clearly. You are no longer accessible to my control, and I don't know how to reach you anymore. 2. You think you're better than everyone. This accusation is born entirely from insecurity, not truth. You did not announce superiority, you did not claim dominance, you simply raised your standards, and that alone exposed the gap. When people say you think you're better than everyone, what they are really confessing is that your growth has made them feel smaller, not because you diminished them, but because they refused to rise. Your discipline didn't insult them, it reflected them. Your consistency held up a mirror to their excuses. Your silence made their constant need for validation sound loud and desperate. You didn't shame them, your presence simply removed their illusions. And when comparison becomes unavoidable, resentment follows. People who are secure don't feel threatened by excellence, they feel inspired by it. Only those who are unwilling to improve interpret another person's growth as arrogance. Confidence looks aggressive to those who are accustomed to self-betrayal. Self-respect feels like judgment to those who abandoned themselves long ago. This accusation is also a strategic deflection. When enemies cannot compete with your habits, they attack your character. When they can't match your discipline, they label you arrogant. When they can't mirror your consistency, they attempt to morally downgrade your success. It's easier to say you think you're better than to admit I'm not doing the work. But real confidence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't compare. It doesn't seek validation. It moves quietly, steadily, and without apology. And that is precisely what makes insecure people uncomfortable. They need you to be loud, reactive, or flawed, because then they can dismiss you. Your calm confidence gives them nothing to latch onto. Remember this clearly: people don't accuse you of thinking you're better when you're failing. They only say it when your progress becomes undeniable. This statement is not about your ego, it's about their resistance to growth. 3. You're too quiet lately. Silence terrifies those who rely on chaos, reaction, and emotional access to maintain control. When they say, "You're too quiet lately," it is not concern, it is discomfort. Your silence has disrupted a familiar dynamic. You no longer narrate your plans, you no longer defend your intentions, you no longer explain your choices to people who question them without authority, and in doing so, you have removed their ability to predict, manipulate, or interfere. Your quiet is not emptiness. It is strategy. It is discernment. It is self-mastery. You have learned that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. You have learned that explaining too much invites unnecessary resistance. You have learned that silence forces others to reveal themselves. When you were vocal, they could interrupt. When you were reactive, they could provoke. When you were expressive, they could exploit. But now, your restraint leaves them guessing. And uncertainty is terrifying to those who depend on control. Silence removes their script. This statement also exposes dependency. They were accustomed to monitoring your emotional state, your thoughts, your next move. Your quiet signals independence, and independence threatens those who prefer you emotionally available and predictable. They don't miss your voice, they miss their access. Silence is not avoidance, it is timing. It is strength refined by experience. The chosen ones learn this early: not every battle requires a response, and not every truth requires an audience. When you stop reacting, your enemies expose themselves trying to provoke a reaction that no longer comes. Your quiet means they can no longer read you. They can no longer anticipate your direction. They can no longer influence your decisions. And that loss of control is what unsettles them, not your silence itself. 4. You're overdoing it. Relax. When enemies tell you to relax, it is never about your well-being. It is about their comfort. This statement emerges when your discipline becomes impossible to ignore. Your consistency highlights their inconsistency. Your focus exposes their distractions. Your commitment makes their excuses louder in their own minds. So instead of adjusting themselves, they attempt to slow you down. They frame your standards as excess. They call your dedication extreme. They suggest balance, but what they really want is relief from comparison. Your momentum reminds them of promises they didn't keep to themselves. Your work ethic shines a light on the effort they avoid. This is subtle sabotage disguised as concern. They don't want you exhausted, but they also don't want you ahead. They don't want you burnt out, but they also don't want to feel left behind. So they ask you to relax, to pause, to stop pushing, not because you need it, but because they do. Never confuse comfort with wisdom. Growth has always required discomfort. Every transformation demands discipline before ease. And those who criticize your intensity are often the same ones who benefit from mediocrity remaining normalized. Relaxation has its place, but standards should never be lowered to soothe insecure observers. Your focus is not obsession. Your discipline is not imbalance. It is alignment. And those who understand purpose never ask someone walking in it to slow down. 5. No one is talking about you. This statement is pure projection disguised as dismissal. If no one were talking about you, they wouldn't feel the need to announce it. Silence doesn't advertise irrelevance. Only insecurity does. People don't randomly declare the absence of attention unless attention is already being felt. This sentence is not information, it is a defensive maneuver. It is an attempt to downplay a presence that has already disrupted their sense of control. When enemies say no one is talking about you, what they are really doing is testing whether their words still carry influence. They want to see if doubt will enter your mind. They want to know if you still measure your worth by external validation. This is not about truth, it is about leverage. And the irony is unmistakable, the very act of mentioning it proves the opposite. Your name circulates precisely because you are no longer trying to be seen. It moves through conversations without your permission. It shows up in rooms you're not present in. And that lack of access unsettles people. When they can't reach you directly, they talk about you instead. When they can't influence you personally, they attempt to shape narratives externally. This sentence also reveals fear of momentum. People only feel the need to minimize someone who is rising quietly. Loud failures are ignored, silent growth is monitored. You are no longer asking for attention, and that makes your presence more powerful, not less. Your absence from noise makes others fill the silence with speculation. They want you to believe you're invisible, so you'll stop moving with confidence. They want you to doubt your impact, so you'll shrink back into accessibility. But relevance doesn't require announcement. Influence doesn't need confirmation. Power doesn't explain itself. Understand this clearly. People don't talk about those who don't matter to them. They don't attempt to erase names that carry no weight. This statement is not about your visibility, it's about their discomfort with your quiet relevance. And the fact that they brought it up means your name is already alive in spaces you've outgrown. 6. You got lucky. Luck is the insult people use when they refuse to acknowledge discipline. It is the word assigned to outcomes they did not earn and do not understand. When they say, "You got lucky," they are not describing chance, they are protecting their ego. Because admitting your effort would require admitting their avoidance. They didn't see the nights you chose consistency over comfort. They didn't feel the pressure you endured when quitting would have been easier. They weren't present for the internal battles, the self-doubt, the isolation, the repetition, the restraint. And instead of asking how you did it, they label it luck to avoid responsibility for why they didn't. Calling your success luck removes accountability from their stagnation. It allows them to believe the universe favored you arbitrarily, rather than acknowledging that you aligned with it deliberately. It keeps their narrative intact. I would be successful too, if only I were fortunate. But deep down, they know luck doesn't show up repeatedly for the same person. Consistency looks like luck to those who quit early. Preparation looks like chance to those who never trained. Discipline looks like privilege to those who never committed. They want to reduce your rise to randomness because randomness feels less threatening than earned momentum. This statement also reveals observation. People don't attribute luck to outcomes they haven't noticed. They've been watching. They've been measuring. And rather than confronting the gap between your habits and theirs, they dismiss your results as coincidence. But luck fades. What you're building compounds. Luck is temporary, alignment is durable. And the truth they avoid is simple. What looks like luck from the outside is usually a long series of unseen decisions, made when no applause was present. 7. You'll fall, eventually. This is hope disguised as prediction. It is not foresight, it is wishful thinking. When enemies say you'll fall eventually, they are revealing their emotional investment in your collapse. They are no longer trying to stop your rise, they are waiting for gravity to do what they couldn't. People don't anticipate the downfall of those beneath them. They only wait for the fall of someone already standing high. This statement confirms your elevation more than it threatens it. It exposes fear. Fear that your progress is sustainable. Fear that your discipline is rooted. Fear that your growth is not accidental. They are watching closely. Every step, every move, every moment of silence. And instead of engaging with their own path, they monitor yours, hoping for a misstep they can finally point to and say, "See?" But hope is not strategy, and observation is not action. This statement also reveals powerlessness. When people believe they can influence an outcome, they intervene. When they cannot, they wait. Waiting for your fall is an admission that they no longer have access to slow you down. They've lost control, so they cling to the idea of inevitability. But inevitability does not belong to those who adapt. You didn't rise recklessly. You rose consciously. You didn't build on ego. You built on discipline. And falls usually come from arrogance, not awareness. You are not moving blindly. You are moving deliberately. Let them wait. Let them hope. Let them predict. Their anticipation changes nothing. People who focus on someone else's fall are already lying down themselves. 8. You're not as spiritual, humble, real as you think. When they can no longer disturb your peace externally, they attempt to destabilize you internally. This statement is not about truth, it is about penetration. They are trying to reach your core because surface-level attacks no longer work. Your boundaries held, your silence protected you, your composure denied them access. So now they aim for identity. They question your spirituality because your peace exposes their unrest. They question your humility because your confidence reminds them of their insecurity. They question your authenticity because your alignment unsettles their contradictions. This is not critique, it is resistance. People attack what they cannot influence. They attempt to shake what they cannot move. And when someone tries to define who you are, rather than address what you do, it is a sign that your foundation is unmovable. True humility does not announce itself. True spirituality does not seek approval. True alignment does not argue with misinterpretation. You don't need to perform purity for those who are uncomfortable with clarity. You don't need validation from people who are unsettled by truth. This statement is a confession. I can't reach you anymore, so I'll try to make you doubt yourself. But rooted individuals don't collapse under identity attacks. They understand that peace threatens chaos, and alignment exposes disorder. Stay rooted. Stay centered. Those who know who they are don't argue with those who don't. 9. I miss the old you. This is the final admission of defeat. Not because it's emotional, but because it's honest. They miss the version of you that tolerated disrespect, the version that overgave, the version that doubted itself enough to remain accessible, the version that explained too much and demanded too little. They don't miss you, they miss the role you played in their comfort. They miss the predictability. They miss the power imbalance. They miss the ease of access. This is not nostalgia, it is loss. The old you required patience, justification, and compromise. The new you requires respect, and respect is expensive for those who benefited from your self-neglect. When they say this, understand the grief beneath it. They are mourning access, they are mourning influence, they are mourning a dynamic that no longer exists, and instead of evolving with you, they try to pull you backward with sentiment. But evolution is irreversible. Awareness does not unlearn itself. Boundaries do not disappear once established. You cannot return to what you've outgrown without betraying who you are becoming. This sentence is closure. It confirms that the door is closed, not out of cruelty, but out of growth. And the chosen one does not apologize for becoming unreachable to disrespect. They didn't lose you. They lost control over who you used to be. This is the Chosen Seer channel. Thank you for watching. Chosen one, if you are hearing these words from others, do not shrink, stand taller. These statements are not warnings, they are confirmations. You are on the right path. If this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, type 11 in the comment section as a signal of alignment and divine timing. And if this message strengthened you, don't forget to subscribe, because this journey is not for the many, but for the awakened few who refuse to be defeated. Thank you for watching.